In about a month it will be decided who will govern London in the future. Incumbent Sadiq Khan is not very dazzling, but he still has the best chances. In the UK, support for the Conservative Party has fallen to as low as 19% in recent opinion polls. And in the UK electoral system, such a result could result in the party receiving fewer than 40 seats, down from 376 in the current government. And this seems almost unthinkable. But things could even get worse if internal party fighting breaks out at the end of Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's term. And there are local elections in the UK in May. If the Tories perform poorly, as expected, there could be a final attempt to replace Sunak. There could also be calls for bigger tax cuts and increasing political pressure on the Bank of England to cut interest rates. Another conclusion is that they are heading towards a negative outcome for the democratic process in the UK. Furthermore, with such a large majority, Labour leader Keir Starmer may find it difficult to discipline the more extreme fringes of his party. And then fiscal policy turbulences seem possible. Furthermore, the decimation of the Tories could be followed by a split in the party and a more right-wing course, reflecting the populist movements that have emerged across Europe following the example of Donald Trump in the United States. In this case, the idea of Nigel Farage leading a newly constituted Conservative Party and being given the keys to 10 Downing Street in 2029 is no longer far-fetched. And this example from the UK highlights the prospect of political volatility that awaits us worldwide. But the election campaigns are already showing their dirty side. A film shows panicked people fleeing in a tunnel, and under Labour, London has become a crime capital, reports the narrator, which is why residents of the British capital stay at home or go underground. And Mayor Sadiq Khan has seized power and his masked toll collectors are terrorizing innocent motorists. This commercial did not come from right-wing populists, but was published last week on the X account of Rishi Sunak's Conservative ruling party in time for the local election campaign, which in early May in England is not least about the town halls of important cities with over 1 million inhabitants, such as Birmingham, Manchester, and, of course, London. It's just a shame that the dramatic black and white images were shot in New York. In addition, there are no masked municipal officials. And there can be no question of a seizure of power because Khan was properly elected twice in London. The Tory party headquarters had to quickly revise the spot, and the camp of the Conservative candidate Susan Hall quickly distanced itself from the sleazy work. There is a suspicion among London Tories that the communications team, led by the Australian PR guru Isaac Levido, is playing with the resentment that exists in large parts of England against the multicultural, politically and economically powerful metropolis. They gave up the London election long ago, believes an insider. In fact, all polls suggest that the son of poor immigrants from Pakistan will win a third term. Khan will probably win, but not by a landslide, believes Elizabeth Simon of the Queen Mary University. There is no great enthusiasm about the mayor in London, but his largely unknown competitor Hall only makes a name for herself with unsuccessful media interviews. The head of communications for former Mayor Boris Johnson was recently shocked by Hall. Guto Harry believes that they are dealing with a mediocre incumbent. And Khan actually offers enough points of attack. The crime rate is in no way higher than in comparable cities with over 1 million inhabitants. But too many burglaries remain unsolved. Stabbings are increasing and drug trafficking is spreading in many parts of the city. The Labourman points out with some justification that the Conservative central government has radically downsized the police force. He also shares supervision of the police chief with the Home Office, a configuration that is unique in the country. Sadiq Khan doesn't have to worry much about the fact that his term in office will only be in the rear view mirror from May onwards. When it comes to environmental policy, Khan is breaking new ground. Improving the air they breathe in the capital is his declared goal. That's why an ultra-low emission zone, or ULEZ for short, was introduced 5 years ago in the inner city districts. Since then, old cars and vans with poor emissions values can only be driven there by paying a daily fee of £12.50. When this fee system was extended to all of London with its 9 million inhabitants in 2023, there were months of protests. When it comes to construction policy, Khan has not used his power sufficiently to address the dire housing shortage in the city. In return, Londoners are inundated with messengers in which the mayor criticizes the Sunak government for this and that. And he also likes to have a say on international topics. He was one of the first Labour people to advocate for an immediate ceasefire in the Gaza war, contrary to the cautious line of party leader Sir Keir Starmer. Performative politics is Khan's speciality. No religious holidays, no demonstrations in favor of ethnic or sexual minorities pass without his greeting. The overground trains, which are comparable to S-Bahn trains here in Germany, were given new names such as Windrush, after Caribbean immigrants, Lioness, after the English women's soccer team, or Suffragette, after the fighters for women's suffrage, for the equivalent of 7.4 million euros. The main shopping street, the Oxford Street, is decorated with colorful lights during the Easter holidays with the slogan Happy Ramadan, lit by the Muslim mayor himself. For a while, Khan was still in danger of being attacked from the left. Former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn publicly flirted with the possibility of running as an independent. In doing so, he would have followed in the footsteps of his old friend and old left comrade Ken Livingstone. He got the newly created mayor's post in 2000 as an independent and then ruled successfully for 8 years, the second term again as a Labour man. Of course, running against an incumbent who is excellently connected and supported by the party is a completely different matter, which is why Corbyn did not appear on the official list of all candidates on Maundy Thursday. This means that the way seems clear for Khan 6 weeks before the polls, and even poorly made Tories commercials are unlikely to change this. But there are currently allegations that have consequences in a different direction. I haven't talked about this yet, but I have to do it. The leader of the DUP party in Northern Ireland, Jeffrey Donaldson, has resigned from his position with immediate effect a few days ago. He is said to be confronted with ominous allegations from the past. That means that the leader of Northern Ireland's Protestant Democratic Unionist Party, the DUP, Jeffrey Donaldson, has resigned from his position with immediate effect. The party has received a letter from Donaldson in which he confirms that he has been confronted with allegations of a historic nature, according to a statement from the party last Friday. According to party guidelines, the MP in the British House of Commons was also suspended from his party membership pending the outcome of legal proceedings. At an emergency meeting, the party leadership appointed MP Gavin Robinson as interim leader. It was initially unclear what kind of allegations would be made against Donaldson. The politician is said to have hastily deleted his social media account. Just a few weeks ago, Donaldson led his party as a junior partner in a government with the Catholic Republican Sinn Féin. In doing so, he ended a 2-year-long boycott by the DUP in protest against the Brexit rules for Northern Ireland, which had paralyzed the political institutions in the part of the country that still belongs to the United Kingdom. At the time, the politician rejected also the Good Friday Agreement of 1998, which ended the decades-long civil war in the 6 counties. And if you want to know more, the next video is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.